Budget cuts delay response to North Bergen blaze. By Bill Tompkins, www.firehouse.com. Once again, budget cuts have come back to haunt politicians as flames tear through buildings next to a closed firehouse in North Bergen on January 16. Shortly before 5:30 a.m., local residents began banging on the doors of the North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue Firehouse at 62nd Street and Kennedy Boulevard to report a fire. They did not know that Engine 9 inside was out of service. 911 calls were made after the attempt to get someone to answer the knocking proved fruitless. First, 2 units arrived at 6231 Kennedy Boulevard and found a smoke condition from a 2-story frame apartments over a retail store. A second alarm was transmitted. Fire was found traveling up the rear wall from the basement. Companies opened up in an attempt to stay ahead of the fire, but as the roof was opened, it became obvious that the flames had extended to the cockloft. A third alarm was sounded, bringing additional manpower to assist in opening up in the fire building as well as the similar attached structure. By about 6:20, fire began showing through the vent hole in the roof. Members were withdrawn from the roof, but continued to open up on the second floor. The flames continued to grow and all firefighters were ordered out of the building. A fourth alarm was transmitted as a defensive operation was commenced on the main fire building. And opening up hand venting continued in Exposure D. A ladder pipe and escort went into operation in front of the building. Several hand lines worked the C side, and exposure lines were operated in the small alley on the B side. A collapse zone was set up in front of the building. After the top cornice fell. Shortly after, a large part of the second story collapsed onto the sidewalk, followed about a half hour later by the rest of the second floor. By about 8:30, all of the heavy fire was knocked down and the fire was contained to the original fire building and Exposure D. No serious injuries were reported, and the cause is under investigation.